Welcome to Back Issue Classics, here inside the pull bag. TFG1 Mike brings in a variety of hosts to cover many comics. We review stuff from DC, Marvel, IDW, Image, Zenescope, and more. So open your ears to hear our discussions on comics you might not have known about. It's all here inside the pull bag with Back Issue Classics. Welcome to Back Issue Classics. Here inside the pull bag, TFG1 Mike brings in a variety of hosts to cover many comics. We review stuff from DC, Marvel, IDW, Image, Zenescope, and more. So open your ears to hear our discussions on comics you might not have known about. It's all here inside the pull bag with Back Issue Classics.
Spoilers.
Hello and welcome to The Pull Bag. This is Back Issue Classics, episode 91 of BIC, and it is the wrap-up for Batman Month. Now, originally, Batman Month was going to include Batgirl, Stephanie Brown Batgirl, but I decided against that because next year's Batman Month is going to be all about the Batwomen in 2018, so this year we've had almost all Batman Beyond with a little bit of Batman TMNT and New Adventures in there. So I figure, oh hell, all cartoons, right? So that's what's going on here. And we're wrapping up the first arc for Batman Beyond. Last time, at the end of it, JT from Saskatoon and I found out about the fact that Terry is a Joker. Dana realizes he's alive, and holy shit, matches Malone's kid. Yay! So hello JT, how are you?
I am well, thank you.
That's good, that's good.
It's like, Matches Malone had a kid. You mean a philandering con man criminal from Gotham City got around? The devil, you say?
Yes, that's right. Oh, good old Matches. It was a nice way to kind of tie into Matches, and it was also a nice way to kind of tie into to the fact that Terry is actually Bruce's son.
and it also ties into one of my favorite lines from Amanda Waller from JLU. He left his DNA all over town, not even remotely what I meant.
Yep. Absolutely.
God
all right.
Bless you, CCH Pounder.
Yes, yes. All right, so we are going to be covering the next 3 issues of the 2016 Batman Beyond series. This is Escaping the Grave, Part 3, 4, and 5. And yeah, like I said, it continues. This is the first arc of this new series, written by Dan Jurgens. Art, for the most part, is done by Bernard Chang, but I think there's one issue in here where it's somebody else. I think issue 4 is done by somebody else. Or issue 3 and 4 might be done by somebody else. I don't remember off the top of my head. I think I know this stuff, right, folks? Happy Holidays. Oh, God, I remember when these came out. It was back at Christmas time, and it's like, yeah, Happy Holidays from DC. Sure. So issue 3, we open up with the Bat Cave, and you know, decades from now, and the suit is shredded, and Matt and Max are trying to figure out what they can do for Terry and how they're going to be able to help him, and they find this thing in the back computer. Yeah, they find something in the back computer that, you know, it's kind of like Stan Lee got into the Batcave and Miles Morales was the next Batman. We'll get to that later. We'll get to that later, folks. But Escaping the Grave, issue 3 was done by Bernard Chang. I believe it's issue 4 that is done by somebody else. So as I'm reading through this and going through this, what I like about issue 3 is that it's Dana narrating. Because if you remember when we left off in issue 2, she had just seen Terry as a Joker. So it kind of makes sense for her to be narrating the story as we start through issue 3. We get a really good explanation from Terry as Matches his kid. I thought that was really great. And the art on the Jokers is great as well. I love that.
Oh, yeah. And the one thing I gotta mention is Marcelo Maiolo, who's the colorist.
Mm-hmm.
like his work throughout the series has just been stellar, but I just love it in this first shot of they're at the No Laughing Matter, which is, you know, like I said in the previous episode, this is basically the stack deck club of the Batman Beyond universe.
Yeah.
You know, they're walking through, like they're all basically in strobe because they got like the strobe light music in the background, but then you got the nice solid colors of Terminal and his posse with Terry and Dana in the foreground, which I really like that. And yeah, it's how they set up, you know, Terry as Match's kid is kind of brilliant because it perfectly parallels like the reasons why Matches is not seen for months at a time when Bruce is using it. You know, he ditched this, you know, and even Terminal is like, Matches did have a way of disappearing for stretches, and, you know, they reference the fact he didn't want to be nabbed by the cops or the Batman. And this is kind of like a Clark Kent in the glasses sort of thing for Batman's use of Matches, that, you know, Matches disappears and then these guys get taken down by Batman. It never clicks in anyone's mind that maybe Matches is Batman or Batman is Matches or something like that.
Well, yeah, again, the perfect example for me of Matches is Starcrust from JL.
Yeah.
Because Bruce dons the Alan Napier disguise as Matches and uses Matches as the character name and calls back to the, you know, the 66 series with Alan Napier's, you know, Alfred kind of look, and he gets on the ship and everything else, and he eventually gets called, oh, I got separated from my group. You know, he has this really weird accent that he's putting. And you can tell it's Kevin Conroy putting on an accent, and I'm not saying anything against Kevin Conroy. I'm just saying it's just hilarious.
Well, yeah.
And, of course, the next thing you know, the Matches thing is, you know, he rips it off, whatever else, and Batman's swinging in and kicking ass.
Exactly. And the one thing I didn't think I mentioned this because it was so brief, the last issue, it never clicked to me. But rereading this here in preparation for a recording is I could hear Will Friedle doing a like Brooklyn or Bronx accent.
Oh yeah,
because reading in the Nightwing series like by Chuck Dixon and Scott McDaniels, there's a couple issues where Batman shows up and they talk about how Matches has this nasally New Jersey kind of accent, and I could imagine that, you know, he knocked up some willing hellhound in Brooklyn and she brought, you know, Matches Jr. into the world. I could just imagine him having that accent. But I love how as they go through the club, how all like you got Bane Jr. here is like, I like this guy. He's aces and everything. and everyone's just glomming onto Matches Jr. here. Is like, you saw me take down Batman's scooter, right? Yeah, I was the guy. And everyone's just like, ah, you're so schway, man. And then Terminal is just like, I love the fact that Terminal is just, you know, he is not buying any of this shit for even a second.
Well, no, because Terminal always was a genius. He was, you know, the second in the class in high school behind Max and everything else. And I almost wish, I know this can't happen because I know that obviously it's a different character, it's a different name. I know Terminal's real name is Carter Wilson from the animated series, but I don't know, for some odd reason, I wish it was kind of Carter Grayson. I don't know why, but
no, I can get that. I mean, you know, now that you say it, like Carter Wilson is like, you know, it would be great for however long this series runs if they bring. Well, I'm not going to spoil the end of the story. If at some point it's revealed that Carter Wilson is related to Slade. He's like Slade's great grandson or grandnephew or something like that.
That actually makes sense because you know, Carter is a genius and so was Slade. So
and physically capable.
Oh,
and,
absolutely, yeah.
Know, he's ambitious and all that. So I mean, who knows?
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, just at this moment that Terry's like ingratiating himself into the gang, that Dana decides, and exit stage left.
Yeah. And, he convinces Terminal that he's going to go after her, but, he's not going to go alone. But Terry does find her first. And she's going on and on and on about how are you alive, blah, 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 blah. You've been lying to me all these years, yada, 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 yada. And then, quite possibly the best line of the issue, quiet down, okay? We're dancing on the edge of a knife here. Now, the first thing I thought of was Jack Nicholson. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Yeah, that is a good line. Like, it's a great line, but it is a good line.
Absolutely.
And I do love that shot right before he says that like wordless panel in Terminal's just looking at him is like, oh, this isn't going to end well. Like, he's just got this look. It's like, I am going to ruin your shit. Yep. And then I love it because, and this for me is the moment that like completely divorces any potential of this being like the future of the animated series for me in like a storytelling way.
Well, it's its own. Okay, so
it's its own universe. It's just like I said when we first started doing the these Batman Beyond series. Is just I see it like in my head canon. I just saw this as this is like the ultimate, continuation of like I mentioned it the last time when we talked about like the Metropolis arc and the JLU coming back, and I could still kind of see that as this is just happens beyond the animated series. But it's something about this arc and specifically this moment where Dana's like, I could hear not really Dana Delaney's voice, but that attitude, like that.
It was not Dana Delaney. That was,
I know, but
it was
saying,
Dana Tan, I believe.
Dana,
Lauren Tom was the voice. Sorry, anyway.
But what I'm trying to say is like, her like, it's really you. You're alive. How? And just in. Yeah. I could hear that energy.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Dana Delana and Lois Lane.
Yeah.
Just mile a minute, out of my way, Smallville, stealing the elevator sort of manic energy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is not meant to be, like, when they said they were going to be bringing Batman Beyond into the core DC universe, we knew, because we've already had the animated series continuation. We had that in Breyfogle and Beecham's run, 10,000 Clowns and Batgirl Beyond, and then when Kyle took over and did his run with Rewired and Justice Lords Beyond and Mark of the Phantom, we've already had the animated series run. That still does not mean that we, as fans of the old show, don't, as you just said, hear the voice actors and actresses from the show in these characters. Yes, this is a completely different timeline. Yes, this is a completely different Terry. But the way that Dan Jurgens is writing this series is he is paying huge homage to the show, at the same time being able to tell his own story with the characters. So it doesn't feel like, oh, I saw that episode. It was episode 52 of season 1. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like it's just a repeat. And that's what's so great about it, because there are moments in this that we're going to get to where I just break down. There's one moment, and anyone that has been listening to the Pullback for the last 5 years, anybody that's listened to me almost the last 10 years on GCRN, knows that I'm a huge numbers and anniversary guy, and when a certain security code is punched in later, I actually had to look it up to to see if it actually did mean anything, and oh fuck yes, it meant something.
So and I'm just saying, like I said, in that moment, I could feel that energy, coming out of that dialogue. If you hear the voice actors, and I love the following shot from Chang's art of Jokertown, like the main gate. I don't know if you've ever played like Arkham City, but that just seemed like he was basing that off of like in the game, they've walled off a section of old Gotham and thrown like all the criminals and malcontents, and Joker takes over the Sionis steel mill. and it's basically Joker Town, and it's just the way they did this game made me think of that in the game. And we see Max and Matt outside, and they're trying to figure out how to get in there, and Max basically acts as a decoy. And I love the line of the Jokers are like, "Why don't you join our gang?" And she's like, "Sorry, excessive makeup isn't my thing." Too bad, you got the hair for it.
Yeah. And I love that Matt is going on more adventures, because that was always my main complaint about the cartoon series, and I'm not really... I know I'm nitpicking here, but Matt was a little too young in the cartoon series, because he's supposed to be somewhere between 8 and 10 in the cartoon series, I believe. But that was always my main complaint, that we didn't really get to... Like, they always kind of forgot after a while about Matt and the mother and everything else, and that's why I like slightly preteen, or I forget how old Matt is in this series.
I think he's like 12.
Okay, well there you go, almost preteen. So yeah. I like him actually taking on adventures and doing things and trying to figure things out. I think that is a really cool way to get that character involved without him constantly having to be the damsel in distress. Not that he would be, but that's the only way I could put that sentence.
Yeah, and I love the... I don't know if you probably noticed before I did, but that he's basically wearing a Batman... He's wearing a Beyond version of a Robin suit. Like, he's got the Damian hood, he's got, like, the Tim Drake kind of style vest and all that, and then you see him like ninjing over the roofs while Max is distracting the Jokers, and then we get back to Terry and Dana, and Dana's starting to come down from her medic. "Oh my God, you're alive! Why are you jumping?" Ah! You know, and he's like, "Later, okay? It's just we got to get out of this loony bin." And she's like, "Well, you got to see this first," and saying how Carter's like, remember how Carter was always trying to prove himself to be the smartest. Well, he's trying to bring a dead man back to life, and we get a shot of the Joker in the, who
we assume is the Joker.
Well, who else could it be, Mike? I don't know.
Holy shit, it's Bruce Wayne.
Exactly. It's like, why would he be trying to bring back one of the most heinous men alive? Why else? To prove that I can. Which to me is such a great supervillain line. Mm-hmm. And then we got like the hollow cube of, back in high school when Carter and Terry and Max and Dana were all friends, and he's all like throws it. It's just, like, and pardon my French, folks, but it's a very FU moment where he just
absolutely,
he just throws it. He almost takes off Terry's head with this thing, and Carter isn't so smart that he hasn't tumbled to the fact that Terry's Batman. But I love that. Well, what's your story? Are you a cop, or even more of a threat? You can see that the wheels are always turning in his head. And then they get into it, and I know he's called Monster Man, but he's Bane Jr. in my eyes. And then Terry gets into it with Bane Jr. He actually takes him out, and without the suit, which is a great Terry moment personally. Yeah. For him, because he's proven he can actually do this. And then he gets into it with Terminal, and all of a sudden he's got a full Nelson thrown on him. And I love the look on Terminal's face where he's like, "Take them to the wall."
Yeah. Yeah, so they end up going to the wall.
Which is essentially they're hung in front of the the billboard sign outside of the club, and they're using slingshots and they're shooting ping balls filled with acid at them, and Matt has to find his inner his inner Robin, because I don't think
I would rather have. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Dan would ever make Matt a Robin. I don't think Matt. If Matt was going to be a Robin, he would be more Tim Drake than anything else, I think. Because of the whole first story arc, and that's how Matt got introduced to us, with Tim Drake being Batman at the time. He's a little flippant, but he's not as annoying as Damian is. And he doesn't really he has some training, but he did not grow up in a circus like Grayson did. Yeah. So I would say he'd be more along the lines of Drake than any of the other ones. And I don't know if they'll ever put him in a Robin suit. I kind of like him just being the way he is.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, because
Yeah.
obviously with the outfit he's got here in the story, and we end this first issue with Terminal kind of looking over the Joker and telling Joker janitor to take a hike, and he goes in and he gets a palm scan from this guy and it transfers all this money to his own accounts, and Terminal admits that it's all a farce, that this isn't the Joker and it's
Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne. And the creepiest way to end this issue is if the villain of the piece is gently stroking the villain or the face of our hero, and oh god, that's just a creepy image. He's like, oh, just gently stroking like that. That was just creepy.
Yeah, that was creepy at the end of issue 3. With issue 4, we get we get them on the issue 4 was where the wall happened, because Matt had to get to Terry with the backpack because they found the prototype, and once Terry gets himself and Dana free, Matt goes to him and says, I can do this, Terry, here you go. And Terry's like, what are you talking about? He goes, no, you need what's in here. And he pulls it out, and he's like, are you serious? The new Batsuit is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
The best line out of issue 4 with the new Batsuit is, boy, am I glad I didn't swallow those things, the explosive pills. That was hilarious!
Yeah. I love how issue 4 starts with, we go back to the front of the club, and all of these dozens of Jokers are shooting the acid pellets at them.
Yeah.
I love how everyone's so fixated on, messing with Dana and Terry that no one sees Matt, schlep through the side door. And Terry's trying to figure out, and he has, the bat. I love how he has, I'm calling it the bat shiv.
Yeah.
He's got the bat shiv. He manages to get it out from wherever he had it tucked away, probably in a sensitive place. and he cuts himself free just as Dana's tagged by one of the pellets. And they're climbing up. And I love how Terminal is classic bad guy mistake. He's so sure of his victory. He's so sure of everything's coming together. He does not see one of the heroes dash by him. And I even love the line from Janitor Joker, who's like, you're not supposed to be here. Sorry, got lost.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And he gets up and you got these two Jokers, one's going to take out Matt and the other's going to take out Terry and Dana as they're climbing up to the roof.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Terry's like, Batshiv, ha-ha!
Yeah. My one line about the Batsuit, other than the fact that it's epic, love the new suit and all its wonderful toys.
That's good. And I love for the proto suit here, I love the whole kind of anime line. He's got kind of the anime-tron power lines going off the belt and the legs and all that.
But you see what I mean when I say Miles with the suit, right?
Yeah. Now I get it. That never clicked before. I also love the fact that this one, I love the lack of white eyes and a mouth.
Yeah.
It's kind of got this very symbiote kind of look, and it's got a touch of the Venom suit there, but I kind of like it with just the red eyes and no mouth. Just the overall, I love this bat suit.
Yeah, it's very
Terry
awesome.
just like you said, Terry's got new toys. He's got these extra strength Tylenol explosive pills. It's if the wouldn't want to swallow those, well, damn rights, because then you got bad bolognese all over the place. And I think the wings look I don't know if they retract or not.
They do.
Okay, because I just love how he's kind of fighting, and it's almost like...
Well, he's able to use them for offense because they're lighter than what they used to be.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a cape. He's got this... Batman should always have a cape. It's like Batman without a batarang or a snarky English butler. It just doesn't work.
Or a can of repellent of something.
Shark repellent bats. Which, again, a quick aside, that was actually something our friend Ben Carver put me on. That was a gag they had in Arkham City there's a scene where you go through the Natural History Museum and it's got the iceberg lounge in it, and this is something that was set up before the game, like before the prison. But at one point you're going on this raft over this like lake that's been filled and built into the museum, and this shark comes out, and Batman pops out a can, says bat repellent shark or shark repellent, and he cracks it open. It's a set of these oversized brass knuckles that he uses then to, beat the snout out of the shark. So yeah, so Terry is having he's like, I'm seeing sound, like he's got radar vision, like he's got sonar imaging like a bat. He's got these the batarangs. He takes out Bane Jr. with some bat darts, which I know he kind of had that in the show, but looking at them and where they shoot out of from, it's more reminiscent of As-Bats, like when Azrael took over for Batman in the 90s, and he had that, I kind of liked that first armored costume. He had like the oversized gauntlets with the Wolverine claws and shit, just shooting the bat darts. And I love the whole thing. Remember me? We met a day or so ago. Got off on the wrong foot. You buried me in rubble. Tried to break my spine. Almost killed me. Not very neighborly of you. I was insulted. Like, just that whole thing. And
Terry's quips would rival Peter Parker's at this point.
and again, just I could totally hear Will Friedle doing that. And then you get back to Terminal, and him and Janitor Jay, and they're like, yeah, Batman's here, took out our whole crew, and he's like, we're leaving. And again, we get back to hysterical freak out Dana, where it's like, you've been lying to me for years. I had to do it. And she's like, if you were going to say it was for my own good. And then Matt, thank you, Matt. Thank you, Proto Robin. He's like, can you guys deal with this sappy stuff later?
And the thing about Dana is,
this is a totally natural reaction to finding out your ex-boyfriend is Batman.
It is, but it's like you said, it's to borrow a phrase from a certain chairman of a certain promotion, it's totally over the top, is what it is. I mean, it's WWE over the top. I get it, having a natural reaction, and that's fine, but she keeps harping on it. If she would have been a little bit more emotion, because this is supposed to be years after they were in high school. This is supposed to be, the way that Dana opens this story up and says in the issue that, oh, we used to be close, and it shows like a partial purple flashback of the two of them in high school. So this is supposed to be years after, let's say, the original animated series is run, not counting any of the other continuity with Return of the Joker and all that, but to me, if Dana is older and wiser, she should have been somewhere along the lines of the way she was in Epilogue when Terry called her. When they had the whole flashback in Epilogue about how Terry left her and all that stuff because he was Batman. I think it should have had a little bit less out of control emotions and a little bit more like sad reflection.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. But I like I said, it's just like that. The art on who did the art here? I forgot to mention that
for issue 4. It's Pete Woods.
Yeah, Pete Woods. I just love the look, like how he drew Dana. Like you could see her just like what, ga, like she's just total freak out. I love that. And then we see. Carter's taken off with Janitor Jay and not Joker Bruce, and it's where I love the scene where they get back into the the lab there, and Terry's like, is like, why would he have Bruce's? Oh my god!
Bruce Wayne revealed.
Just bum bum bum,
and that's the way they ended that one.
And I love, like, you can't see his face. Terry's, like, mouth open, like, holy shit. And Matt and Dana are kind of like, huh, cool.
Yeah. So we get into issue 5, and we get to the point in the story where everything changes. We've almost got the end of Terminal's run, because Terminal's end goal was to find this thing called Keystone. Apparently it's Bruce's super giant technology thing where it has information. Yeah, it's an electronic black box.
Yeah, it's skeleton keys. So it's a MacGuffin.
It is. It's a Decepticon matrix of leadership, even though it doesn't exist. But it's one of those things where
it depends on what continuity you're talking about, but I digress.
The Decepticon matrix of leadership does not exist. Anyway.
In some continuities, but I digress.
In all continuities, it does not exist. Anyways, so I like this because Terminal, he's said it already. He's one of the smartest guys in Gotham. He has an end goal. He wants information on everybody. He doesn't really care about looting and robbing and creating mayhem and laughter like the Jokers and the Joker did. He even says, he says at the end of the last issue, at the end of issue 4, why would I bring back one of Gotham's worst people in the world when I can bring back one of the best? I'm paraphrasing here, obviously, folks, but, to the point of, why couldn't I bring back somebody that was going to give me a leg up on everybody? And that's why he brought Bruce back and kept Bruce alive and found Bruce. And I like that nice little flashback of finding Bruce during the war and everything else. So that as I said, the story kind of pivots here because we've got Terminal trying to get to Keystone and we've got Batman trying to stop him. Meanwhile, Janitor Joker is playing his own little game. And it turns out that the Joker isn't dead, folks.
Yeah, because, I mean, you go back where they land on the Wayne Powers building, and Terminal has that... He makes a classic villain blunder. He starts monologuing. And I love the art that Chang does, and this is the specific moment where Terminal loses any chance of him actually pulling off whatever you want to do. Is like, our patient is the ticket to all of this. His genius puts the world at my fingertips, and he's got like that goofy is like, I've got it all. And it's like, no, you got nothing. You got Jack, son. You got Jack. Because like you said, they get in, and Terry's already
Well, again, Terry's already there because in the beginning of the issue, Terry went there first. He figured it out before Terminal got there. And when Terry got there, as I said earlier in this podcast episode, one of the best moments of the entire run to this point in the first 5 issues of this first. And I absolutely love the title of this first arc, Escaping the Grave. Oh, I love it. It was so cool. But the moment that, honestly, seriously, once I figured out what it was... And it's so stupid. I know. I don't give a shit. I get emotional over certain things, and getting emotional over a certain date in time just seems stupid at times, but I don't give a shit. He does the voice print, he does the fingerprint and the DNA and whatever else to prove that he's Terry McGinnis, and then he puts in the security code, 11099. You know what 11099 is?
The original debut of Batman Beyond.
That's right. Absolutely. And I'm like, Dan Jurgens, you masterful asshole.
It's like, you beautiful son of a bitch.
That's right, yes.
and I love the fact, like, Terry gets in and he ruins Carter's day. Mm-hmm. Like that whole thing. And they're fighting and Carter goes for it. And this Keystone basically looks like it's Google Home, folks. It looks like a wireless... USB speaker, whatever this thing is, and it's like, it's mine, and it's just like, nope, that follows. And I love this where you get the finally reveal where Janitor J kind of drops all the pretense, and I love the line, and this is like, when I hear it, where you read him say, "Lighten up, you cheap imposter," I immediately thought of Mark Hamill in Return of the Joker going, "You're nothing, you're a rank amateur." Yeah. During the final fight, and the real Batman knew how to appreciate a good joke. Like, I could totally hear Mark Hamill here.
And I could too. I was just waiting for, like, at one point he says to Batman, "You're not Batman." I was waiting for him to say Batfake. I really wanted him to say Batfake.
Yeah. And again, like, it's not that I'm not knocking Bernard Chang's art here. It's like he's still got like the red kind of techno veiny eyes, but he's got the mouth back. And I just thought, like I said, I thought the suit worked better without a mouth. But yeah, so Joker, Janitor Joker, it's like, I've got this chair precariously balanced on the edge of the building. It'd be a damn shame if the anti-grav would conk out at the wrong... Oops. And he basically pitches Bruce, Professor X wheelchair and all off the side of this building, and Bruce is like, "No, let me go, let me die." And it's not like a suicidal.
Was that before or after he killed Terminal?
Oh, this is before.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Because I want to mention something about the Terminal death, but yeah. So Bruce is falling. Let me go. You don't understand. You don't know who he is. You must go after him. Well, I got backup.
and I love that he's like, "Let's get you to the hospital. Forget me. Go for it." It's like, Bruce, you're alive. Bad guys can wait. And the Joker is still dead. About that,
yeah.
And then we get the epilogue, and Matt, to his credit, pulls out a bazooka and, like, "You shot my brother down, I shoot you down." And he shoots their escape craft, and it crashes in, let's call it, Gotham Central Park. They're going to try and fix the ride and take off, and then Janitor Joker picks up the crowbar, and it's like, a Joker with a crowbar just never ends well for anybody.
No, that's what I was going to bring up, was the crowbar, and I'm like, oh, hell, no, they didn't.
And it's not a future crowbar. It doesn't have, like, some bells. No, this is a straight-up piece of metal with a gooseneck that, in the wrong hands, is an instrument of death. Yeah. And unfortunately, it's the Joker. It's OG Joker. It's the boss.
Yep. Absolutely.
And you just have that scene, and it's straight out of Death in the Family. Like, he gives him the old Jason Todd.
Yep.
And he's like, like,
and that's how we end, and we end with next the beginning. So yeah, I love this first arc. I think it's really great. I think it might be a little hard for readers to jump into this because of the fact that you have the Rebirth issue, which is the one-shot, and then you have issues 1 through 5, which is Escaping the Grave. The Rebirth issue is to establish the fact that Tim Drake is going away and Terry McGinnis is back. And to some of those people that may have just jumped on the Rebirth issue, I will say to you, go back, read the 2015 series first, and then start reading this, because it'll make more sense to you. If you're just jumping on, I don't think... If you jump on at number 1 of the series besides the Rebirth one-shot, you'll be alright. But if you want to read everything, go back to 2015 first. I just love the way this whole thing was set up, because it's such a classic DC animated universe feel to it, but in a post-apocalyptic world after Brother Eye's War. But, like, the things that Dan Jurgens threw in there, all the references, all the homages, and I can't wait to see what else he's going to be doing in the future issues. You mentioned earlier about Bernard Chang's art. The only time I do not like his art is when he goes red, white, and yellow and orange, like to show effect of some. That's the only thing at this point that I don't like about Bernard's art. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I do kind of like that full-on headshot of the Joker at the end of this issue. He's like, "My name," and you got like the...
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm saying the action shot changed where the colors and the style, just the whole thing seems to just change completely.
Yeah. I get that. But yeah, I like I said, I love you hear Mark Hamill with that laugh. Although it does kind of look, with Bernard Chang's art, it looks like the Joker's been juicing a little bit. Cause,
I'm sure Bane gave him some juice over the years.
Because when you see him, it with that headshot.
Oh God!
Like, he just looks like he's jacked.
Yeah. So the last couple of months, over on another GCRN show, Pixels in the Animation, TV's Mr. Neil and I were reviewing Satan. Oh, I'm sorry, Sat AM, Sonic the Hedgehog, the Dark Sonic, the Bad Sonic. And in that, of course, Urkel has to say, it's juice and jam time. And that's the first thing I thought of when you said juice.
Only you, Mike. Only you.
Oh, God. So that's going to pretty much bring it to a close. What would you rate the first arc, 0 to 5 stars?
Oh, this is straight up 5.
Yeah, I'm right there. The only thing I will say that I'm going to take off for it is I'm going to do a 4.5. As I said, sometimes when Bernard Chang does the explosive effect of action that is not in his traditional style, that is, the pure white, orange, yellow, red effect, that's the only time that I really don't care about it. But the story itself, I thought it was great. I thought it was so fun. All the references, and I wouldn't say that this is a series for new readers. This is the Batman Beyond stuff has always been for those of us who remember the show. They're creating new and different storylines and things like that, and new and interesting storylines in the Batman Beyond books, but they're not really like I said earlier, they're not retreading the old cartoon series, but they're not really it steps outside the box for us because of what we realize what they've done with, Bruce Wayne is a Joker. Who the hell would ever have, you know what I mean? No one would ever really think of that, and that's what makes it awesome. But it makes it awesome for those of us who've known the continuity and the style of Batman Beyond. I'm not sure if I would ever really recommend this for anyone as a new reader who has no idea of what the Batman Beyond cartoon was.
No, I get that. It's definitely, if new readers want to check it out, they got to go back to the Tim Drake run there.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get it, they don't have to read all the Batman Beyond unless they want to, but just for this new stuff, they definitely got to start with that Tim Drake run.
Yeah, the 2015 series. All right, folks, that's going to do it for Batman Month this month. As I said at the beginning of the podcast, next year we're going to do all female bats. So we're going to do Batwoman and Stephanie Brown Batgirl, and who knows what else. No clue. But that's going to do it for Batman Month. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Where can the people find you online, sir?
They can find me on the Comic Connoisseurs podcast and on Twitter at JT from Saskatoon.
Awesome. You can find me at TFG and Mike on Twitter. You can also follow at The Pullbag on Twitter, at Geekcast Radio as well. Head on over to geekcastradio.com. Check out all of the past episodes of The Pullbag. Coming up next month in June, I believe Steve and I are going to go back to the Zenoscope Robin Hood series. I could be wrong, so that's subject to change. But hope everybody enjoyed Batman Month here, and we will catch you next time here inside The Pullbag. Make your great escape into comics.
I warn you, I can be a difficult taskmaster. I accept nothing short of excellence from all who work for me.
I think I can handle it.
Very good then, Mr. McGinnis. Welcome to my world.
You've just heard the latest episode of The Pullbag, the GCRN's comic review and discussion podcast. There are several ways to get in touch with us and leave feedback for the show. You can visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on the episode and all of our different podcasts. You can rate our show on iTunes. Be sure to leave us feedback. Call the voicemail line, 502-526-5821. Please remember to tell us the show you are leaving the message for, and your name. Become a fan of us on Facebook by searching Geekcast Radio Network. Send us an email feedback at geekcastradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at Geekcast Radio. So until next time, make your great escape into comics and unleash the geek in you.